Hi guys, and we did say when we got to 500 subscribers we would show you the Team RC3D Prints fleet. Well, here it is. It's actually surprised us how many cars we've got, but we thought we'd do a little tour. Any more that you want to see, leave a comment. We've actually got videos of most of them running, not all of them, but most of them, or we can certainly send some links to where some of them run, but we'll show a few of them in more detail. So, the only petrol car in the fleet, the Marder. It weighs a ton. It's pretty dirty. We're not a massive fan of it. It's noisy. It's not that fast, but it's a bit of fun. And I think actually we're going to sell that. That's going to be being sold shortly to fund some more projects. We come on to the x-maxx is probably our best fun trucks, to be fair. We've got two of them here. You'll have seen them racing many, many times. And they're very similar specs. This one's got a wide max kit on it. Not a wide max kit, sorry, wide axle kit on it. Makes it a little bit wider, got slightly different suspension setup and tyres, so it does have slightly different handling, but they are definitely, from all the fleet, probably the most fun that we've got. In the corner we have our Habeo. As you see, we've done a few videos on this. We put a set of UDR electrics in it. We've actually took them out now because I think we're going to trade this one on. It was a bit of fun. It was actually very quick, but just doesn't quite handle as well. Certainly no competition for the x-maxx, and as you can see, we just got far too many cars here, so we do need to get rid of some of them. 3, 2, 1, go. Get off! We then come on to our UDR fleet. We actually did have a fourth one of these, but we have got rid of that. They're all very similar. They're all run as standard Traxxas electronics. We've got, well, we always run them on 6-cell. We don't bother, we run them 4-cell. It's still relatively quick on 4-cell, but not quick enough for our liking. So this is the fleet. One of these, again, is going to be going shortly as well. But these are great when we use them on the loose surface, the dirt surface. And we also tie that in with running it with the Mojave. This is a well-used Mojave, and if anyone isn't familiar with Mojaves, they're a different suspension setup to the UDRs. They are traditional double wishbone affair, and it handles quite a bit differently, and it's got the open diff. You can see the wheels spinning around there, but that's a good one to play about with and race against the UDRs. We then come on to the Max. This is the latest V2 wide Max, whatever you want to call it, version, and probably what we think, where we run them, probably one of the quickest trucks we've got. It's more nimble than things like the x-maxx. We're only running it on 4-cell, but it's certainly got plenty enough power compared to running, say, the UDRs or the x-maxxes, and we've even done some videos of actually running these and racing these, and this definitely seems to be the quickest truck. We then come on to Habeo SCX 10, I think it is, something like that. It's only running 2-cell, this is, and it's almost a 1/8. I don't know if you class it as a racing truck or not. It's quite quick, and I don't really know what we're going to do with that. We'll perhaps run it a little bit more. We've got a couple of radio issues on it at the moment, but we've got Hobby Wing electrics in it, so it's good quality electrics in it. It's got an XR8 speed controller, Reedy motor, so that is a good spec truck, and that's a good bit of fun to drive, and actually very, very quick. So we now have the 1/10 off-road racing trucks and buggies, which you may have seen. We've done a few videos on these. There's a few race meetings that we've done of these. We've also raced a couple of these against some of the bigger trucks, but the problem with these is when we're using a bumpy track, they don't really cope with the bumps as well as a big scale. But a quick run of what we've got here. We've got an X-Ray XT2 truck. You'll see we did try this against the, I think it was the Max, and it really didn't have enough grip. But we don't really race these. I don't really race these, so we're actually going to be trading that one on. We then come on to the XB4. This is a four-wheel drive truck, four-wheel drive buggy even. We only run these on 2-cell. It's got a Hobbywing speed controller in it, Tekin motor, which is actually loose at the moment. We've got to fit that back in, and that's set up to run on AstroTurf. That is a very quick buggy, so four-wheel drive. That will be a very quick one. You will see some videos. We have done some videos of these being raced. We then come on to our fleet of 3 XB2s. Now, these are all slightly different buggies. We have the latest 22 spec XB2, which you'll have seen we've done a build video on. Very, very quick buggy. Again, Hobbywing electrics in that. We raced that recently. These are very, very quick bits of kit. But what we've also got next to it is we've got the same buggy, but it's got a wheel speed chassis conversion. You'll see the shiny alloy chassis. It's also got what they call a lay down transmission. There's a 5-gear transmission in there which moves the motor much further forward, which gives it better weight distribution, makes it quicker on carpet. Again, if you do a Google for that, you'll see them running. And then lastly, we have a wet spec car. This is what we use when the grip is very low. It moves the motor further back, more weight distribution on the rear, so we have more grip. And you'll see in America, this is the sort of thing they run on the clay tracks. So then we come on to our banger stock car ones. If anyone has seen short circuit racing in the UK, this mimics what they do on the RC ovals. Now the cheap and cheerful ones are these ones. These are just 80, 90 pound cars and crash into them. It's on a little oval, 3 or 4 second laps, and the shells just get absolutely decimated. They only last probably 1 meeting, 4 races, and they just completely smash to bits. So it is literally whatever you want to do. Race in reverse, go around backwards, it is just demolition derby. Then moving up the scale, still on the same track, we've got these which are stock cars, 1300 stock cars. All these cars are very basic, the old 540 brushed motors. We run, although it's not in a 450 milliamp, 4500 milliamp roughly, nickel metal hydride batteries, 4-cell, foam tyres, and these you see have got bumpers on, so it is hard and fast racing with those. And because they've got bumpers on, the shells last much, much longer. Then this one here is just another one of these. It's just, we've got a few of these we race because they're so cheap, they break so easily, you tend to have a few of those. And then we probably come on to what is the pinnacle of oval RC racing, which is the F2 stock cars. These again still have brushed motors, 540 motors, and still 4-cell batteries, although there's talk of that changing. Foam tyres, big bumpers on them, and again 2.5 to 3 second laps with those. Race for 5 to 6 minutes, and that's quite intense racing. And these, as I say, are much more expensive than these. We haven't mentioned any prices on any of these cars. I don't think we will, because we just frighten ourselves with how much money we've spent. Then we come on to hot rods. These are non-contact. These are raced either on ovals or on indoor circuits. We actually race this one indoor on a circuit, same as the GT Tails, which we'll come on to in a minute. It's the same specification. In all intents and purposes, the chassis are very, very similar on all these cars, and this one just hasn't obviously got any bumpers. It's got some slightly more expensive servo on it, and you'll see there, as we run on a lot of the race cars, is the transponder. We have personal transponders, so it does all the lap times. So vintage racing is very popular, particularly in the UK, and here we have This is a bit of a project for us. A Cougar 2, Schumacher Cougar 2 works. Probably 1990s this car was originally built, and we're still trying to source some parts for it to get it running. Particular parts to note, it's got these roller drive shafts, which, well, you're talking over £120 a pair for those at the moment. They're stupid price at the moment. Hopefully Schumacher might do a re-release on some of these, but it's alloy chassis. It really is in fact the forerunner to the XB2. I mean, this is what they've developed into, but this one here, as I say, alloy chassis, as you can see, it's been very well used. We can't restore that. That would need to be replaced, and again, getting hold of these is very, very expensive. If you've got any of these parts laying about in your shed, contact me, we'd definitely be interested in those. So then we come on to 1/10 touring cars, very, very popular formula. Oh, not good, we haven't raced this much. I've only actually raced this once. This again is X-Ray. It's not the latest model. I think this is a 2020 model. Brushless motors. I've got Hobby Wing speed controllers in this. One thing you will notice in this, and what they do, the servo actually mounts, it's a specific mount for the servo. It mounts just with one set of screws there, so it's not a normal traditional servo mount on these. And lots of shiny alloy parts and carbon fibre on this as well. Good fun. Google that for any of racing on those, and you'll see these, certainly in a modified form, when they can run whatever motors they want. They run down to 3.5 turn. They're like absolute rockets, they really are. We then come on down to what was a lockdown project. This is a Tamiya Formula E car. I can't remember the actual Tamiya model. We actually built this up over lockdown. Try and get the body shell off. And it's got the inboard shock absorber scenario on here. It's the usual Tamiya quality, which is very good, although the spec on it's not particularly high. But one thing you will see is how difficult it was to fit all the electrics in this. The speed controller, it's actually buried down there. The receiver's down there, and I think we've only run this once, but it was a bit of a project to say in lockdown, that one. We've got another Tamiya here, Tamiya M series front wheel drive car. This is, see, we've got the motor there, and it runs through the front drive shaft system or the front transmission system there, servos all the way back up there, and these are quite a bit of fun to race. It's got Tamiya TEU speed controller in there, and again we've got the personal transponder in there which does all the lap times when we're racing. So we do race these locally, and they are quite a bit of fun. Plenty of interesting handling with the front wheel drive scenario for those. So, smallest car in our fleet. Look at the size of that compared to the x-maxx. These are little lossy, I think they're 1/32 trucks. I don't know if you can even buy them anymore. They run on very small nickel metal hydride or lithium batteries in there. They're okay, they're a bit of fun. It is what it is really. So I don't think they're made anymore. And similarly, we've got here the slightly larger version, which is that's 2-wheel drive. This is 4-wheel drive. And as you can see, very, very small, intricate details on that. Actually has got oil-filled shock absorbers. It's got 4-wheel drive transmission through there, and they're okay. But as I say, I don't know if you can get parts for those anymore. What we've also got here, we've got the Kyosho Mini Zs. Now these are quite expensive, quite popular, I believe, in Japan. These actually run on AAA batteries, rechargeable AAA, 4 AAA batteries in there, and they do little hop-up packs for these, where you get motor upgrades, you get gear upgrades, tyre upgrades, suspension upgrades. So they are actually quite fast little cars. And what you can run these on, there's RCP, because they call it RCP foam track, and it's like an interlocking track. We've got some of that, and we were going to try and do some of that because we've got 2 of these. We were going to do that in the winter, but just time's got away from us, so we might try that at some point. And this bit here is actually a timing system. You actually have a little loop and that actually times them. So it's interesting. If you just Google RCP track or Kyosho Mini Z Racings, these are actually quite good fun. You see this one is obviously quite well used. You can see the tyres have actually perished on that one. But we will perhaps give them a go and do a video on that one. So we've got the last selection of cars here, probably the most interesting actually from my point of view. Let's start with this one. This is the car that I first got into RC racing. This is the Tamiya Fire Dragon. It's a re-release model from about 2000-ish. They have actually re-released this again. So it's sort of the middle iteration of this car. It's certainly not the original one from the 90s. If it was one of them, then they'd be like gold dust. But it's quite a basic car. It is 4-wheel drive, but you can see this has never, ever been run, and we don't think we will ever run this. This will just sit on the shelf. We've got a motor in it, but that's all. There's no other running gear in that. We've got the box and everything for that as well. We've then got cheap and cheerful. This is UDIRC, 4-wheel drive truck. I think this came from somewhere like Banggood or something like that. And it's got drift wheels on it. It's 4-wheel drive. It's got gyro in it. It's got LED lights on the shell, and it cost about 75 quid, I think it was, with a charger, everything ready to run. Great fun. It's not very quick. If you took it out against any of these other cars in a car parking lot or anything, it wouldn't be particularly quick. But certainly running about on a patio like we're here, or even indoors in a reasonable sized living room or lounge, it's actually really good fun. But that is a very good value little bit of kit. And they do different variants of the body shell. I think you can get actual proper saloon cars and things, but that's a bit of interest, that truck. We then come on to, probably last but certainly not least, this is a truck, or this is the car that we run regularly, weekly. This is a GT12. This is actually a Mardave GT12. We run 13.5 turn brushless motors, 1-cell lipos in them, and very expensive electronics. It's got foam tyres, which we run additive on, between 5 and 6 minutes. And if you search on the channel, we did actually start to record some racing on this, and it is actually very close racing. Perhaps not the most interesting to watch on YouTube, but we did put a few on there so you can see. And that is the Mardave one. We race it on a weekly basis. And just as an example here, we do have, in an almost ready to run status, a similar version here from Schumacher. That's a Schumacher Atom 2. A slight derivative of this is the LMP version, which has a slightly wider rear tyre on it, and it's slightly lighter, and they're even quicker again. They're certainly very quick things to drive. These are only 2-wheel drive. In actual fact, we don't run diffs on them. That is actually a solid axle on the back of that, because it's actually quicker to run a solid axle than it is to run a differential. Very difficult to drive, but it's quicker. So that is the fleet. What did you think to it? Have we got too many? Do we need some more to add to it? What would you like to see us running? Do you want to see some videos of any of these running? Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, then please do. If you have subscribed, then we thank you for that, and we'll be back again soon.